This episode is rated M for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
This is Creepy Soup on the PFC Entertainment Network.
A little bit.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to episode 141 of Creepy Soup.
Keeps wanting us to go live.
I know. Jason and I were discussing it the other day, and he had the opposite. He wanted to go live, and it wasn't live, so they had to stop and start all over.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know. We might be live somewhere.
Oh, well.
We don't know. You just get it a little sooner than everybody else. Anyway, welcome to episode 141 of Creepy Soup, brought to you by the PFC Entertainment Network, which Jason just had a birthday.
Happy late birthday. I didn't get a notification or nothing. I'm so sorry, Jason. But she didn't tell me, though, so it's her fault.
Wouldn't be the first thing this week. That's my fault, I guess.
Her fault.
All my fault.
But happy birthday.
So, a couple things to note. One, there was a comment on one of our previous videos.
About how long we bullshit.
Right. But I will say the guy was very respectful in his comment instead of being a complete asshole. So we do want to thank you, if you watch another one, for being respectful. And I know sometimes we ramble, but look, we don't get to see each other a whole lot, so sometimes the conversation just flows naturally.
It's new to us.
And I will say, our each episode is titled with episode number, what the subject is, with a side of bullshit. So with that, you're getting a side of bullshit. And sometimes we like the sides better than the main course.
Sometimes. Our lives are interesting. We like to
Well,
Sort of.
Sort of. I mean, it is what it is. So we do want to apologize. And if maybe when I post it to YouTube, maybe I can put the time in where we actually start the content.
In case you guys do want to skip it.
Yeah, in case you don't want to, you know what, maybe I will just start putting that in the show notes. And maybe that'll just make everybody happy. So again, I don't want to throw his name out there, but if you watch again, you know who I'm talking to. And one more time, because we've had some doozy comments on here. One which led to some changes, but that's a whole other thing. But I do want to, again, thank you so much for being respectful. So there's that. Now that that's out of the way. This isn't, so, if you, okay, how do I word this? My brain is sleeping, so I'm sorry.
Her brain's not braining.
The coffee at 1:00 in the morning is helping. But Jason will be dropping the summer line on April 15th. So This drops on the 13th. Nope. Yep. The 13th. So a couple days after this drops. And I believe the link for that is going to be pfcsummer.printify.me. Just in case, go ahead and watch What the 80s. I do know it's here on YouTube, and if you follow the PFC Entertainment Network, Spotify, and I know there's iHeart and Apple. I'm not quite sure where they all go, but Jason could tell you. But anyway, keep an eye out for the summer merch. I do know, I believe he said they're children's sizes, so you'd be able to wear them. She's got little feet. Haven't we shown your feet on here before?
I think so.
Anyway, she's got little feet, so you'd be able to wear them, but they're Crocs. I personally am not a fan of Crocs.
Neither am I.
I make fun of them a lot. Rachel. Yeah. So keep an eye out for the summer. There's bathing suits.
Ow.
Sorry. I didn't mean to get violent.
She chose violence today.
I did. There's bathing suits, men's swimming trunks, tank tops.
Crop tops?
I don't know about crop tops.
I asked you to suggest it.
But he did. Printify is dropping like new coffee. So keep an eye out for that because we love our coffee. I should have my creepy soup mug, but this one's just a little bit bigger and it's got a middle finger on the bottom. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's I know tank tops, this bathing suit, swimming trunks, all kinds of stuff. So keep an eye out for it.
You're so cute.
I try. I try. So how are you?
I am okay.
Okay, great.
How are you?
We got the early morning sillies. At least I do. I don't know. I'm good. Been working. But tomorrow night I have, and I don't even think I've even talked to you. Do you even know what I'm doing tomorrow night?
Working?
No. Wrong.
Oh, I didn't know we were on a game show.
We could make it a game show. Maybe a future episode, not this
copy
one.
Ron.
Yeah.
We love you, Ronnie.
We'd have to prepare for that. I'm not prepared.
I know his ass always has some good ideas for his show.
My train just fucking derailed. Oh, tomorrow night.
Squirrel.
I'm going on a ghost hunt.
Oh yeah, you did mention that.
Yeah, at the Masonic Temple.
Fucking bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. See, anytime I bring this stuff up to you, you either can do it, you gotta work, blah, blah, blah.
Well, if you tell me way ahead of time, I can probably get the day off. And I'm poor. It happens when I have no money.
Okay. Duly noted. Well, yeah, so I got that tomorrow night. So hopefully next episode we could make it about the investigation. Because
I'll sit that one out.
do you remember taking the kids there to meet Santa and Mrs. Claus?
Oh, that.
Yeah. And
No.
and I can remember telling you then, man, this place is so fucking haunted. You could feel it when you walk in. So yeah, that's and that is being put on by whoever
Owns it.
owns it, runs it, whatever, and the author of Haunted Bay City, Nicole.
Oh, the book that the books that Nina used to read.
No, like she came out with this one a few years ago, and I actually did a pre-order, and I have the book. I have it.
Well, because she had a book like Saginaw, Michigan Hauntings or whatever.
No, I don't think it was the hauntings. It was just like a history of it, and
No, it was haunting. I remember. I don't think so. Anything Nina, I remember.
But I know the one book that she had, the Saginaw, Michigan one. She actually got an advance copy because some of her pictures are in it,
Yeah.
and she's acknowledged in it. It's so cool.
Because she's.
And you can still buy that book. I was in Walgreens about a month ago to get all that Eucerin hand lotion. It's
Yeah.
the fucking bomb.
Dude, I don't know where that book went. I'd give anything to have it.
Well, you can buy it at Walgreens. I know they have it. So anyway, I can't, Nicole Beauchamp or something like that. And I know
Camp or some shit.
maybe something like that. She's written other ones, but the Haunted Bay City was the first one I heard of, and I do. Are you looking it up?
No.
She's looking it up. She's a liar. In case you can't see it, her pants are on fire.
What's it called? The
Haunted Bay City. Yeah, I want to say it's like Beauchamp or
yeah, Beauchamp or yeah. Wherever
Well-
the fuck.
well, it's her and the Masonic Temple have teamed up to put that on. So, yeah, that's.
I kind of want to Google how to pronounce. I'm fucking stupid.
I'll find out tomorrow. I'm pretty excited. There was also something else that I planned on going to this summer that she's a part of. I don't know. I think she'd be a good friend to have. To be fair. So yeah, I think. I mean, I don't really have any.
I don't have anything new, other than it's okay with you and Dad. I do hope to get Ella for a couple days.
We'll discuss that later.
Gotcha. Duly noted. Otherwise, it's just
Life.
work all weekend.
Work.
My boss will give me 3 days off and then work me to death on the weekend. Squeeze it on my hours.
Yeah, because you're usually 12 hours, 6 to 6. Fun. I don't miss that shit. Sorry.
I don't either.
I don't miss
I don't
that
miss
shit.
that shit because I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah. We survived the kids' spring break. Barely,
Yeah, which
but we did.
pisses me off because I don't understand why they couldn't line it with Easter break.
You know what? They used to. Spring break centered around Easter. And I think now they do it like, because college
But
kids.
it's the same fucking month.
I know.
They just
But
have their spring break, and then on the 19th, they're on a 4-day stretch. They don't go back till the 21st.
For Easter, that's right.
They don't go back to the 21st.
I forgot. Oh, so I got a 4-day weekend too.
With your grandbaby.
I'm leaving town. Fuck that.
Fuck them kids. I'm just joking.
Fuck them kids. No, we survived spring break barely.
Now we gotta survive Easter.
But what it was, when I was in school, like I said, which was like 1,003 years ago, you got Good Friday off, and then you had that whole next week off, and then you went back a week after Easter. Yeah, you got Good Friday, and then of course that weekend is Easter, and then you had that whole week off, and
Are
then
you talking about when you went?
yeah,
I can't remember how it went with ours.
I want to say it started out that way when you started school, but by the time you got to high school, that it had changed. And I think part of
It
it
was
is
still fucking during Easter time.
I want to say part of it is because like college kids, their like winter and spring classes,
Yeah.
they get that spring break, and a lot of families either were pulling their kids out of school, like elementary, junior high, high school, to go on family vacations to work around the college kids, so that they just decided, well, we'll do it all the same fucking time.
Yeah. But Easter's not 420. Blaze up, bitches.
Anywho, isn't that when Snoop Dogg leaves Easter eggs? or Willie Nelson? I don't fucking know. Probably both of them. They team up. And I think Martha Stewart's a little bit of a puffer, to be honest with you. Because she
What gave that away?
hanging out with Snoop Dogg. Like,
You can't hang out with Snoop and not fucking smoke.
I don't know, because I don't hang out with Snoop Dogg.
No, I'm saying you can't hang out with him and not.
Yeah. Are you ready to start trauma bonding with some strangers?
Yes.
And this has been a work in progress for like 2 fucking months.
Shut up. Hey, so
You're not my real mom.
So we are going way, way, way back.
My neck, you dumb bitch. My neck hurts. Don't do that. Don't touch it. It hurts to touch. Anyway, go on with your shit.
Alright, so I decided on the topic Jack the Ripper.
If I had sound effects, we would do the applause right here. I don't know. That doesn't sound like shit.
Okay. So my source is Wikipedia because it had the most information.
Mm-hmm.
And usually Wikipedia is pretty spot on, right?
Yeah. See, usually what I do if I use Wikipedia, I also have like another source. Like with the last one I did, the Easter Sunday Massacre.
Yeah, but if you do more than one source, it turns into chaos. It's
Yeah.
confusing.
Well, because for the most of it I had used the other source, but Wikipedia had a lot of the same plus the more updated information. So.
So. Oh, and then there was an update on DNA comparisons for the killers, which don't really know if it's legit or not, but apparently one of the victims had the killer's DNA, which
Was a relative of the killer?
yeah, like obviously the killer, they claim that he didn't have any direct descendants, but like the killer had maybe a brother or sister. But when they ran the DNA, they did get a pop-up that one of his like direct but not direct descendants matched.
Well, don't jump to the end of your story.
No, I'm just throwing it out there.
So
So they got something to look forward to.
So are you saying that he was related to one of his victims?
No.
Okay.
I mean, now.
Okay.
Like, there was somebody has their DNA in the system.
Okay.
That spit out some sort of percentage match.
Okay.
Obviously, the killer didn't have any kids because of the type of match it was. It wasn't like...
Well, maybe he had kids.
Maybe. But they said it's like a sibling descendant match.
Okay.
What I don't remember.
Well, it should be in your notes.
It's not.
2 months.
Shh. You know what? Shut your face. Put your boyfriend away. Oh, you're not gonna do it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So, during the months of... And I did put it in my own words. During the months of August 31st through November 9th, 1888, in London, England, in the Whitechapel district, a unidentified serial killer was on the loose, causing a terrible reign of terror. Terrible. Those were my words.
Shut the fuck up.
Among the citizens of London, they ended up choosing, like they do for every serial killer, they ended up choosing Jack the Ripper, but apparently he had a couple others, the Whitechapel Killer, and something else, but it sounded stupid, so I didn't, fuck it. His victims were known to be prostitutes, ladies of the night,
working girls,
who all just so happened to reside on the east end of London. I think it said something about because it's like the words are fucking hard. Don't judge. We listen to me. Don't judge. Poverty is the word. I fucking can't. Okay, so while doing my research, there was just some of the details were just really too explicit.
It's a true crime show. We want explicit.
I know, but sometimes some people they like the true crime aspect, but they also sometimes like certain details kind of make people uncomfortable.
Well, that's when you give a trigger warning.
Trigger, major.
Okay.
Okay, the victims were found with their throats cut and their stomachs mutilated. 3 of the victims had organs removed, which had investigators that were on the case thinking that the killer had anatomy and surgical knowledge, which that does make sense. But then again, it's like, you don't, like, it even could have been a butcher because they know anatomy. I mean, certain animals kind of have the same anatomy as us humans. Mammals, whatever. So you don't have to have specific surgical knowledge to know how to cut somebody up. So going into who the victims were, they claim that there could possibly be more, but there's 5 victims that matched more of the MO for this one person. So they called them the Nautical 5 or whatever. However the fuck you say it. Words are hard, okay, guys? Alright, so the very first... Shut up! Okay, so the very first victim was Mary Ann Nichols. Her body was found August 31st, 1888, and documents said that she was found around 3:40 in the morning on Buckus Row, now known as Durward Street in London. Her throat was severed by 2 deep lacerations. One of the cuts were so deep that it severed the tissue down to the vertebrae.
Okay.
Beautiful. Her vagina was stabbed twice.
Oh, I hope that happened after she was dead, because that would hurt.
They didn't specify if it was post or pre. Her lower abdomen was partly ripped open, causing her bowels to protrude. Honestly, I hope that the cut to the throat killed her first, so she didn't have to endure the rest.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
It's horrible that she had to endure it in general.
Yeah.
On Saturday, September 8th, 1888, at around 6 a.m., Annie Chapman was found in a backyard in a doorway at 29 Hanbury Street. I wanted to make sure I had the exact locations. Her throat was also severed the exact same way as Mary Ann Nichols. but only the difference is her stomach was cut entirely open, and the killer removed her small intestines and placed it on her right shoulder.
What?
Why? Right on the shoulder? I don't know. Guess this is good as mine. That was how she was found, but I guess during her autopsy, it was found that her uterus was removed, and sections of her bladder and vagina were removed.
Mm.
It's like, what the fuck you partly removing them for? Fucking weird bitch. God rest your souls. On September 30th, 1888, both Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes were murdered the same night. Don't know why he changed his MO and did a twofer. They were both murdered on or around 1 a.m. because they were only like 1 or 2 miles apart when their bodies were found, so he didn't have very far to travel to kill either one. Elizabeth was found now on a street now called Henriques Street. I'm not. It's in London. They pronounce things different, so I don't know if I just slaughtered it. No pun intended. I'm going to hell. Anyway, she was also found with her throat cut pretty
Similar.
Apparently there was, as time went on, he got progressively worse with how he mutilated his victims.
Yeah.
But he cut her carotid artery. Yeah. Catherine's throat was slit ear to ear. And again with the intestines, he keeps picking the right shoulder. I don't understand what the meaning behind that is. Her left kidney was removed. I would think the whole uterus is a major part, but on Wikipedia it said a major part of her uterus was removed, not the whole thing. Her face was disfigured. He had cut off Catherine's nose. And it's like, I don't know if it got progressively worse as time went on because it was personal by this point. Because it's graphic, but like Catherine got it much worse than the first 3. So it just seems kind of personal to me.
Possibly.
You know? But then there's poor Mary Jane Kelly, who got the worst of it. At 10:45 a.m. on November 9th, which is supposed to be like, that's specifically attached to Jack the Ripper, last victim. She was completely mutilated and disemboweled. They said that she was hacked beyond recognition. So I don't know how I don't know if like there was a way to identify her to know that it was Mary Jane Kelly. I'm not exactly sure. He removed parts of her vagina, her intestines, same thing, her intestines, she got the worst of it. And it's like, if her face was completely disfigured and hacked beyond recognition, I don't know how they were able to ID her.
See, and
I don't think they had tattoos back then.
well, sure. Yeah, tattoos have been around.
Well, I know, certain,
but it could have been maybe she had a scar, like a surgery scar or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But it also could have been her address, because what they did have her address on there. She was found in her house, not just out in the open.
Oh, well, that's probably how, Minnie.
Shut up. That's what I said. So, with that being said, with all that happening in her apartment, because they, it was an apartment, I feel like she got, being the last victim, she got the worst of it. So I feel like that was extremely personal, because you're not going to do something like that to somebody you don't know, right?
I mean,
like, I'm not a serial killer, so I don't know what it's like to be in the mind of a serial killer, how they think, and, all that.
Maybe it got worse because he didn't know them. And it made it easier to completely, basically, humiliate their corpse.
Yeah.
Is really what he did.
Yeah. Like, none of it is okay regardless. It's sad to think, to know that, and not even to know, were they dead at that point before all that shit happened, or were they alive through the entire thing?
Right.
And it's like, all this stuff is happening to you, and you can't scream for help, because the first thing he goes for is the throat.
Right.
So you can't scream, you can't make noise, you're drowning in your own blood, you can't move, and other things are happening to you.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine, and you can't even say that sucks, because it's like, there's no words to.
It's horrendous.
It's like, what makes somebody do such a thing? Okay, yeah, they didn't have the greatest lifestyle, but we all gotta survive somehow. I mean,
it is the oldest profession.
It is. And it's, for us women, I wouldn't say we do what we're best at. Anyway. But it's like,
I don't know, I've never done it.
Oh, so me and Roy are just immaculate conception? Since the beginning of time, when women have always, to some point or another, used their bodies as a method for whatever reason they have. Whether it's to make money, or whatever the reason is. Lots of women use their bodies in ways they shouldn't. But that's neither here nor there. It shouldn't matter what your profession is. Nobody deserves to die like that.
God, no.
Absolutely not. And regardless if it should have happened or not, I hope that they were dead before any of that happened.
Yeah, because that'd be painful.
Yeah. Very. So the suspects that they had were Prince Albert Victor. A prince. Holy shit. Then there was an artist, Walter Sickert, and author Lewis Carroll, and yeah.
He was a suspect? That's
Yeah.
the one that wrote Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
Cool.
And Aaron Kosminski. And the reason why one or two of them were suspects is because they had some type of relationship with one of the victims, Catherine Eddowes, who was the first of the victims that got the worst of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where they claim to have gotten the DNA breakthrough from. The killer had left some sort of DNA, rather it be saliva, blood, or baby gravy.
We both said that at the same time.
Whatever was left behind, it was found on her clothing. Okay. And I would think after over 200 years, I would think like it would be significantly degraded.
Possibly. I mean, I don't know what their collecting protocol was back then.
Right. I would think that it wouldn't have been very good. But you never know. But according to the information that's out now, apparently there was enough
sample,
not sample, but like enough markers to pop up for a descendant that's alive today. And the DNA match supposedly came back to Aaron Kosminski.
I knew it. He sounded guilty.
Is it the last name or his name in general? Aaron.
I don't know.
Aaron.
He just sounded guilty.
Guilty.
The fuck was that?
What?
Guilty.
It's just something that Jordan used to do before he went to California.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait for him to come home. Anyway, but yeah, that concludes my. I know it was. I mean, like I said, I did leave some stuff out that did happen to Mary Kelly. Like, I couldn't even stomach it. Like, it was... The only other thing, like, I specifically remember, there's a bunch of shit that this killer did to her. But apparently, for whatever reason, I can't remember if it was left or right, but he cut off one of her tatas and figured she needed an extra pillow.
All right.
There, during that time frame, there was a crap ton of other murders that pertained to women.
Mm.
They weren't exactly ladies of the night, but women nonetheless, that they thought they could pin on Jack the Ripper,
mm-hmm.
but because of the different MOs,
mm-hmm.
because it was just, there was so many different things that were done to these women that they couldn't really pin it on him per se, unless he decided to, well, I'm just gonna change my shit, you know?
Yeah.
But they always, serial killers that have an MO usually stick to certain things.
Yeah.
So they just decided that these 5 are for sure his, and there may be others.
Now, do you have any idea what Aaron, what his profession was?
Aaron Kosminski? I want to say he was butcher.
Because I know, like, before anything, like, there was always, like, a butcher or a doctor.
Oh, he was a hairdresser.
Well, that's...
Oh! No wonder why No wonder why... Is that why you thought he's the killer?
Shut up, no. You're stupid.
It's that German in you, isn't it?
Shut up. Don't do that. I can remember hearing that it could have been a woman.
Oh yeah, I heard that too. But like the main suspects were men.
Yeah, and I know at one point H.H. Holmes, which is a crazy ass serial killer, was also considered a suspect.
Okay, so let's see, because they. Okay, so Aaron Kosminski was a barber. Aaron. Lewis Carroll, obviously, is an author. I'm not exactly sure if it's the same one. Like, there could have been a different.
H.H. Holmes, he's an interesting little bugger. Because he had what they called the murder castle. He would fucking, I believe it was a hotel, and he would have people come in, and like there was chutes that would send the bodies directly to, I don't know. That's a crazy story.
Oh yeah, it's the same one. The one that, yep, okay.
I never knew he was a murder suspect.
Yep. I'd rather it was before or after. Does not say.
All I gotta do is look when Alice in Wonderland came out. Anyway. Okay.
1865 is when he wrote it.
Okay, so it was after. Yeah, I never knew he was a murder suspect. See, I really don't honestly know a whole lot about. I've never like researched the whole Jack the Ripper thing.
Listen, if my middle name was Lutwidge, I'd be a killer too. Artist.
Well, I'm glad I went with Lee. Because Lutwidge was my first choice.
Bitch, no it wasn't. Artist Walter Sickard. Okay, so he was a British painter. Because it didn't really go into detail exactly specifically what... Okay, artist of what? It could be anything, right? So Google says that he was a British painter and graphic artist.
Okay.
And Prince Albert Victor. Let's see. Was it really a prince? I'd be shocked.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd be shocked.
Okay.
Next time, put this in your research.
Yeah. Was Prince Albert Victor, Queen Victoria's grandson. So, okay. Yes, he was in fact a prince and a suspect.
Okay.
That's crazy.
That is a wide gamut of professions.
Right.
You've got an author, an artist, a hairdresser.
Right. And it's like, why would you... Okay, so it says here for the prince, official records, so why would he be a suspect anyways? Official records, newspaper reports, and other sources indicate that the prince was nowhere near Whitechapel when the victims were murdered. So why would he be a suspect?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah,
I didn't name him a suspect.
Yeah, you were, you old bitch.
Stop it. You're just awful today. Fuck. You would think Mercury was still in retrograde. Yeah. It is not, thank God.
I don't know. I could have swore when I was doing the research before, there was a couple other suspects. Because there was somebody that, like, was very secretive or something, and somebody had went into his house and found, like, personal belongings belonging to one or a couple of the victims. I can't remember his name. It might have been Aaron, honestly. It would make sense, obviously, because DNA match, rather how plausible it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
And I honestly think even with the DNA match today, again, it's a very old sample, and don't know what the protocols were back then. At least I don't.
right, because it could have spit out anybody's DNA at that point, or none at all.
Yeah.
But maybe because I mean, even way back then, they had some pretty cool ways of doing shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, for all we know, they probably had a pretty good way of preserving it.
Yeah.
And because if it was so degraded, they wouldn't have gotten a hit at all.
Right, right.
So it had to be preserved pretty good for them to get a hit. So over 200, right? Oh, wait. It won't be 200 years until. Damn.
2088, yeah. I mean, either way, it's an old ass sample.
Right, and they got some sort of hit. Whether it's a good hit, they got a hit.
Yeah.
And it came back to one of his direct descendants.
Yeah, that's. I mean, and they've gotten quite a few killers that way, like Golden State Killer.
Yeah, with like the upgrades to technology these days.
Yeah.
So it's a strong possibility. It was a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
But maybe Catherine Eddowes was able to somehow try to protect herself in some form or another and was able to get it.
She could have scratched them and had blood under her nails. But here's what I want to know. How do you commit murders like that and then just stop?
Right. That's another reason why they think that he might have switched up his MO and killed the other women. But it's like, that's what I'm talking about. I can't remember where I read it, but there was a couple more suspects, I believe.
Well, like I said, I know H.H. Holmes was like a shaky suspect, but he was still considered a suspect.
Yeah, there was somebody that died a couple months after the murder stopped, and they thought it was because he died.
Yeah. Could have been he died, could have went to prison, could have moved.
Right, to wreak havoc elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, that was a good one. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, I know it was like forever ago, but sometimes light needs to be shed on old shit, right?
Yeah. And when there's an update, it's always cool. So.
Right? Damn, they had a lot of suspects, but those were the main ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other suspects were Montague Druitt, Francis Tumblini. I probably...
No.
Thomas Cutbush.
Well, that would make... Nope. Nope. It's disrespectful.
That's why I stopped.
Come on!
James Maybrick, Joseph Barnett, Thomas Neal Cream. You can't make this shit up. George Chapman, William Henry Burry, Carl. I'm not even gonna bother. David Cohen, George Hutchinson. Words are hard. Hutchinson, James Kelly, Charles Allen Leachmere, Charles Cross, Francis Craig, Jacob Levy, Jill the Ripper.
What? Jill the Ripper. Wasn't me. I was too young.
John Pfizer and H.H. Holmes.
Told you. All right.
Cut bush.
Shut up. Who raised you? Fuck. Anywho.
Any hoodle.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess on that note we can say goodnight. Yeah.
And we'll be back for more.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, so hopefully next time I'll get some good shit on at the investigation. Maybe upload some video and whatnot. Maybe I can scare people. Anyway, have a good week.
Have an amazing week. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. And until next time, see you guys later.
Bye.